Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
So check it out. The D6 Squad has merch now. We got hoodies, tees, mugs, whatever you need. Check it out. Link in the description. What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. Nate Solder has reared his head back into the Giants news. He's going to be someone who wants to come back this year. He says he wants to play this year. I think we all pretty much just chalked him off as at the very least being cut, or if not being cut, we thought that he would retire, which I think would have saved us even more money for the cap. But he looks like he still wants to play. Now, Nate Solder has dealt with cancer in the past with himself. He's also dealt with it with his son. So that's extremely difficult to deal with. And, you know, we all feel for him in that way. But I try to separate it between sports and personal life because at the end of the day, you know, sports are a completely different sector. But at the same time, you know, some of that is probably spilling over into him in his career if he's worried about all of those types of things going on with his family, which is understandable. So, you know, I don't think any Giants fans really hate the guy. They just hate how he performed, especially with Daniel Jones's first season, where Nate Solder was ranked as the last tackle in the league by Pro Football Focus, which I don't put that much stock into, but he did not have the best season at all. He gave up a lot of those sack fumbles that we saw Daniel Jones give up. Well, part of that was because Nate Solder didn't do his job blocking. So that's something we have to think about. Also, I mean, even when he's not the worst tackle in the league or a worst tackle on the field or whatever, even when he's not the worst, he's not an elite tackle, and we're paying him elite tackle money, which, I mean, we didn't really have a choice that year. He was the only, you know, he was the best tackle on the market that year. So we couldn't have predicted that he'd be bad. We thought that he would just be solid, which we'd be fine with. But he's usually not solid. And then when he is solid, I mean, fans are expecting that elite kind of production from him. And he just hasn't given that to us. It's been all downhill ever since he's gotten here. He had a horrible part of his first half of that season when he first got to the Giants. And then he kind of settled in that second half of the season. So we're thinking, okay, we got our left tackle for at least the next 2 or 3 years, and we didn't have him. We ended up taking Andrew Thomas because he did such a horrible job last year, Nate Solder, blocking for Daniel Jones. So we ended up taking Andrew Thomas, who probably would have been playing right tackle this year if Solder didn't opt out. Who knows? But I think we took Matt Parrott before that too. So yeah, we drafted 2 rookie tackles who, you know, in the top 3 rounds. So that obviously means that you feel that that's a big need. So we drafted those 2 guys who we ideally want to be our tackles of the future. And Nate Solder probably would have been one of those guys starting. But from what we've seen, he probably would have been doing a lot of rotating out with Matt Parrott and with Andrew Thomas or whoever, you know, whatever side they put him on. But it's just been interesting to see the progression of his career as a Giant. It's been pretty much all downhill. And then with him opting out, I mean, I know he had to do it for personal reasons, and I completely understand it. But it's kind of difficult to see a spot for him on the team since we progressed so much as far as a cultural way, as far as, you know, the entire organization and the team, the trajectory of the team has progressed so much that Nate Solder, he's kind of looking in from the outside. Matt Parrott seems to be developing. We all want him to be the starter. But at the same time, I would not be mad for a Nate Solder reunion. I wouldn't be mad the Giants are visiting him to restructure that deal. And if we can get enough off of that deal, I think Nate Solder is a great problem to have. I mean, I think if we can get that money down, that's the number one thing, getting the money down from, I think his cap hit is like $16 million this year. So I think if we cut him, we would save $10 million. So if we can just get him to take that pay cut and save $10 million or even save $8 million, I think that's probably worth it. I mean, if he's a possible starter, especially on the right side where he's not protecting the blind side, if he's a possible starter and he can give us, you know, quality minutes or quality reps at that right tackle spot, I say just spin the tires on it. Why not? Why not just let him compete with Matt Parrott? And that also makes Matt Parrott better. It also, it'll make the competition of the entire offensive line better, because if Matt Parrott is going to be someone who has to beat out a veteran right tackle, or veteran tackle in general. I'm not sure if Nate Solder. I'm pretty sure Nate Solder has won Super Bowls, so he's got that pedigree. And if Nate Solder, loses that battle to Matt Parrott, that says Nate Solder might be on his way down, but it also says Matt Parrott is on his way up. So if Matt Parrott can win that spot, I think that says a lot for us. And I'm willing to pay the $8 million or pay the $7 million to Nate Solder to even be the swing tackle, because I think he's a lot better than most swing tackles in the league. Do I think he's better than Cam Fleming? I think at this point it's a toss-up. And then that brings me to the next part of this discussion. Do you believe that Nate Solder at $7 million or $6 million is worth the upgrade over people like Cam Fleming, who are probably going to get paid $4 or $5 million? There's going to be a $1 or $2 million difference, and there might not be that much difference in talent level. So that's my only argument against bringing back Nate Solder, is we can go out and get another swing tackle for maybe $4 or $5 million. And we probably are going to have to pay him, even after the pay cut, probably somewhere around $8 million, maybe even $9 million. Because do you really think that he's going to take a $10 million pay cut? I wouldn't do it. So, does he love the Giants that much? I doubt it. I think if we say we want to give him a $10 million pay cut, he says, why not just cut me here, pay me the guaranteed money, so I still get my $6 million, and then I get to go to another team and get that contract too. So there's a lot of ways that you can attack this. There's a lot of ways you can look at it. But I think there is definitely an upside to bringing back Nate Solder for this year and having him compete for one of these tackle spots. Probably is going to be right tackle. They don't want to do anything with Andrew Thomas. But having him compete at there at right tackle with Matt Parrott, it helps out Matt Parrott. And if he beats out Matt Parrott, I think it helps the entire offensive line, putting a veteran there, especially sitting him beside Zeitler. I don't know if Zeitler is going to be back or not if we bring back a Nate Solder, but hopefully he is, because if I had the decision between those two, I would definitely bring back Zeitler. And I think Zeitler's probably going to take a pay cut or a little bit of a restructure or maybe an extension to still get his money. But if we have those two beside each other, I think that solidifies that, because then you look on the other side, you have Will Hernandez and Andrew Thomas, and then you got Nick Gates in the middle. And I feel like every single one of those guys are solid starters, proven starters who, at the very least could be a starter. Not top level, but definitely starter. So I think this is a good problem to have. It's all about the money. If we can get the money right, then everything else should fall into place. I think Nate Solder could possibly help the team. But, if he doesn't want to take a pay cut, he's going to have to kick rocks. It's just that simple. So you guys let me know what you think of this entire Nate Solder situation. I don't know how to really feel about it, but I wouldn't be mad either way, as long as we get the money. So if you made it this deep into the video, I'm calling you a D6 Squad member. If you're a D6 Squad member, you got to hit that subscribe button. You got to turn on that notification bell. And listen, I make all kinds of content for NFL teams. So if you're not a Giants fan, don't worry. I'll cover your team. If I'm not covering your team, let me know. And have a good one.